All right, so bring that mask over here, right? Hey, yo, check it out. That's a yummy cake. Listen to me, or I'll say it fast. If I can't take a bite, if I put on my mask, but it's okay, cause you heard me. To go on a journey, you don't want to catch those sticky journeys.
No, I need to wear a mask.
Yes, to keep you safe. You gotta cover your face. Anytime you go outside in the place, you gotta be safe. Was that a burp? That was cool. She's a good girl. She does so good in school.
The one name at home, I can't wear a mask. I can't be sick. I need to not wear a mask only at like school
Or stores?
stores.
That's true. Keep your social distance. Listen to the rhymes just for instance. Thank you very much. Don't forget to wear your mask on your nice little smile. That was Sully and Daddy Freestyle. Peace.
Yeah.
Peace out.
What up, y'all? My name is Andrew Defy, a.k.a. the Gorilla Poet Laureate, a.k.a. the Hoodie God, a.k.a. Zaddy Elastic Pants, a.k.a. Spitting Quarantino, a.k.a. I wear my sunglasses at night because my eyes are as sensitive as my heart is, y'all. And that is the last time that you're going to hear my list of AKAs here on Masked Up. Or is it? Ooh, big announcement coming tonight, y'all. Big announcement coming tonight at the end of the show. This is episode 10 with the Latino Center of Art and Culture and the Office of Art and Culture here in Sacramento. So this has been huge. It's been a real honor. We've been serving up some real education and some real community. We've had some incredible guests here. We've been able to do a lot here. So I just want to give a big shout out to the Latino Center for making this possible. And, AKA. The AKAs will still keep coming. You know what I mean? I get a new one every day, AKA the Snack Master General, because I'll cook and eat a whole meal all up in the Zoom room without even putting myself on mute. You know what I'm saying? If you don't eat in the Zoom room, you should. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let these people's expectations like bind you. You know what I mean? Be free. Like, bring a snack to the Zoom room. Make a whole meal. You know what I'm saying? Tell them the Snack Master General sent you. All right, so we're gonna get into things. We got a lot to report tonight. There's just a lot going on in Sacramento as far as the Rona goes. So let's start it off how we always do, with the Rona math. As per usual, this comes from Sacramento Bee and Michael McGough. Let's see. Let's make sure that we got this going on. Yep. So the 6 counties that make up the bulk of the greater Sacramento district, as we are referred to, that's Sacramento, El Dorado, Placer, Sutter, Yolo, and Yuba counties, surpassed 100,000 confirmed cumulative COVID-19 cases early last week. At least 1,194 residents of those 6 counties have died. Sacramento County has reported a total of 65,245 infections on its own since the onset of the pandemic, and at least 857 residents have passed away due to COVID-19. County health officials last updated those figures Thursday, reporting 840 new cases and 13 deaths. By date of death occurrence, December has surpassed August as Sacramento County's deadliest month of the pandemic. County health officials report 182 deaths for December 1st through Christmas, one more than all of August, and that's only through Christmas, y'all. Virus hospitalizations in Sacramento County have fluctuated recently. The total in hospital beds fell from a record high 518 shortly before Christmas to 451 as of Sunday's update, then jumped again by 37 patients to 488 as of today. State data showed 105 ICU patients countywide as of Monday, down 1 from Sunday, and 5 below Sacramento's all-time high. We are approaching record numbers in the ICU right now. Available ICU beds were at 81. That's down 1 from Sunday. The state formally announced over the weekend that the 13-county Greater Sacramento area must remain in the state's strict regional stay-at-home order until further notice, y'all. So we still here. We still in that heavy stay-at-home. You know what I'm saying? What's happening after New Year's gatherings? Yeah. Those numbers ain't even in yet. It's going to be another week or so before those numbers really hit. So, you know, things are picking up here, and we haven't even really hit some of those community gatherings, some of those big family gatherings that were going on. So, you know, that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing that's coming. So, you know, like we always say, everybody put your masks on. Everybody be considerate of everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Stay at home when you can. You know, shout out to all of our frontline workers that don't have that opportunity. But, you know, like, it ain't going to get any better until we get better. You know what I mean? So everybody put your masks on, keep your social distance up. And the only way we're going to beat this thing is together right now. And, you know, so if you've been following the show, you know, that's the heaviest part. We do the heavy part at the beginning. Then we do a little, what I like to call a palate cleanser, right? And generally, this will involve a co-host who's about yay tall, really mouthy, really light shade of blue. But if you've been following, you know that Zeus T. Fitzgerald has taken off to New Zealand because he is not playing with the epidemic of stupidity that is going around and rampant in Sacramento, especially in Granite Bay, we should say. So, you know, though he cannot be here because he's hiding out doing whatever you do in New Zealand, you know what I mean, for fun, he is still here with us in spirit. And for this week's No Strings Attached, we got something real special. So over this time, y'all got to know Zeus. I've known Zeus for a very long time. Zeus is actually the founder of ZFG, as well as the founder of the Sacramento Poetry Salon. He's the puppet laureate of Sacramento. And, you know, we've lived together for a very long time. If you've been over to the house, you've seen him around. You knew that was my roommate. I don't like to tell a lot of people that I got a puppet roommate. But, you know, I'm glad y'all got to meet him. And, you know, where's the puppet? See, the puppet has gone to New Zealand because there was a pandemic of a second persuasion called stupidity, that he had pre-existing conditions because his brain is made of styrofoam. So he's highly susceptible to stupidity. So he wanted to get out of here, got himself to New Zealand, where they have the lowest numbers in the world. And also, you know, going to throw it out there, a woman in leadership. So, you know, but throughout this show, you got to meet Zeus. And here's a little bit of the best of Zeus T. Fitzgerald. What is going on with what is happening with my computer right now? This is wild, y'all. I've never had this happen before. This is...
Hey, is this thing on?
What are you doing?
Andrew, you gotta get off the internet. I need to make a phone call.
I am trying to have a live stream right now, Zeus. Are you serious?
And I am trying to call LiveJournal about why they canceled my account.
Y'all, this is my roommate. This is Zeus. People really enjoyed your appearance last week.
I know. It was like the only reason they tuned in. For good old Zeus T. Fitzgerald, a.k.a. the lightning god, a.k.a. the god of rock and roll, a.k.a. puppet guy. Yeah, okay, mine aren't as cool as yours. Let me talk to the people for a second here, Andrew.
You do that.
So, you know, I understand 2 weeks ago, I called y'all a bunch of idiots for not wearing masks. And then I did an apology that wasn't quite an apology. And I stand by every word I said. I'm just going to leave it like that. Back to you, Andrew.
But we ran a contest to have the Philharmonic biggest fan be able to come on this live stream and ask a question.
I love that.
And I got the sweetest letter from this little 8-year-old girl named Zoe. Zoe.
Ta-da! Yeah, got you good.
I'm about to
Andrew.
cry.
People loved your awful cheating way that you jumped into the Philharmonic interview last week. So
Yeah, that was good. That was good. You should invite me this time, though, because I want to talk to this kid.
I mean, I've realized that if I don't invite you, you just find a way to cheat your way on and steal it from a little girl. So, I mean,
Attaboy.
I
I'll
don't
steal
really have
from every
enough.
little girl in this city if that means I get to be on the show. Yeah, there we go. I didn't actually know this was a show. I thought you were just like playing pretend, like that time we used to do like the teacups.
Oh my
And you were
God.
like, "Oh, it's a tea party." That's what you sound like, by the way.
That is the best of Zeus T. Fitzgerald. And, you can go friend Zeus on Facebook. He hasn't been too active since being in New Zealand. I don't know how the Wi-Fi is over there. But go find Zeus on Facebook. He got a TikTok too. There's some golden content on Zeus T. Fitzgerald's TikTok. Marie said, "Do puppets pay rent?" I wish they did. Zeus was out here getting donations from folks. Said he was buying a second house and they never paid me a dime of rent out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, Zeus is definitely here in spirit, though. He sends his love and his regards all the way from New Zealand. And yeah, man, shout out to Ruben Reveles, the man behind all of our streams, the unsung hero of the stream world in Sacramento, who really laced me up and made it so that I could even see my comments that were going on. So if you like the show, shout out Ruben, because he's the one who taught me the platform and taught me to do this. So let's see. Okay, so we're done with Zeus. It's so the last show, y'all. The last show. So it's only right that we give you a dose of the Rona news. Also from the Sacramento Bee, I'm Michael Mago. 2 months in, and now in a new calendar year, California remains in an intense coronavirus surge, with hospitals across a majority of the state either already overwhelmed or bracing for that in the near future. Health experts still expect that the next few weeks could see already record levels of virus deaths and hospitalizations soar even higher due to the recent holiday double whammy of Christmas and New Year's Eve. Shout out to the Bee for using the phrase double whammy in print. The state on Monday surpassed 2.4 million lab-confirmed cases and added nearly 100 new COVID-19 deaths for 26,635 across the entire pandemic, according to the California Department of Public Health. In the past 2 weeks, California has added more than 500,000 cases and nearly 4,000 deaths, averages of about 38,000 infections and 283 fatalities per day. The latter mark is twice as high as the peak of the summer surge. Neither figure yet factors in the likely impact of the two recent holidays. In fact, reporting delays and backlogs related to them may still be keeping the reported numbers significantly lower than their true totals, though the state did add a record-setting 585 deaths on New Year's Day that included a large backlog from Los Angeles County. More than 21,000 virus patients were hospitalized with COVID-19 as of a Monday morning data update, including nearly 4,600 in intensive care units, according to CDPH. The state's aggregate ICU capacity has been 0% for well over a week, driven by the dire situations in Southern California and the San Joaquin Valley, which combined for about 27 million residents. Some of the hardest hit hospitals in Southern California have taken drastic measures, clearing out gift shops or conference rooms to treat patients, the Los Angeles Times and other local and national news outlets have reported in recent weeks. I saw a couple of those articles. It is not looking good in Southern California. Let's not follow that trend, y'all. To top it all off, the state disclosed last week that a new variant of COVID-19 originally identified in the United Kingdom and believed to be more transmissible than other variants has been confirmed in California. The first case in the state came in a San Diego County resident with no reported travel history. Y'all saw that. Y'all saw the news about what was going on in the UK with the highly transmissible new strain. It is here in California. Governor Gavin Newsom first broke that news during a virtual conversation with Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's leading infectious disease expert. Health experts have attributed the ongoing surge, which started to take root around early November, to a combination of holiday gatherings going back to Halloween, combined with societal pandemic fatigue. What you're seeing right now is a complete function of people not being able to stay apart and not being patient. Bradley Pollack, Associate Dean for the Public Health Sciences at the UC Davis School of Medicine, recently told The Bee. This is just human nature. We're social creatures. And I know y'all feel that. We are. We are definitely social creatures. Let's see. Shouldn't we shut down like England? No going out except exercise once a day. There's an argument for that. There's an argument for that. There's a lot of there's a lot of people who feel that way, and there's a lot of people who don't. I don't know where that medium is. Also, Marie says love Ruben and mezcal. I agree on both of those things. Yo, so let's see. Let's get back into it. Sacramento stays in the stay-at-home order. The state formally announced over the weekend that the 13-county greater Sacramento area must remain in the state's strict national stay-at-home order until further notice, as health officials noted a few days earlier would likely be the case. That decision came as the state's mathematical projection showed the region's available ICU capacity expected to remain below 15% 4 weeks from now. For much of the past 3 weeks, Greater Sacramento has hovered near, but mostly slightly above that mark. I think we were at 17% last week. However, the region's availability plummeted from 14% on Friday to just under 7% in a Saturday update from CDPH before rebounding up to 10% Sunday and 12% Monday. So we're trending up to having more, but we're still below that 15% line, y'all. Like San Joaquin Valley in Southern California, Greater Sacramento will have to stay in the order until the projections show ICU space above 15% 4 weeks into the future. The Bay Area, in which ICU availability had dropped to 7.9% as of Monday, remains in its required 3-week window within the order through this Friday. The main additional restrictions in the stay-at-home order compared to the strictest tier, purple, in California's reopening framework are the outdoor restaurant dining and personal care services like barbershops must remain closed. Hence why this beard is wilding so hard right now. Only the sparsely populated 11-county region designated Northern California has avoided the stay-at-home order. Northern California maintained 30% ICU availability as of Monday's update. Now, the news y'all really want to hear about that everybody is talking about. New Year's parties. Ooh, there's some controversy going on in Sacramento about the New Year's parties. A large and lavish New Year's Eve party at a mansion in Granite Bay brought at least 100 people together in a flagrant violation of state-issued health orders, according to photos and videos circulating on social media that I've been seeing all day. The party apparently took place at a home previously owned by actor Eddie Murphy in the gated Los Lagos community. Videos posted publicly to YouTube, Snapchat, and other mediums showed crowded rooms, attendees dancing in close proximity, and few, if any, wearing masks. A Placer County Sheriff's Office spokesperson confirmed that deputies responded to the mansion for a noise complaint. Those deputies estimated about 100 people in attendance. Those social media posts appear to show the true total may have been significantly higher. Now, a couple things I want to say. Y'all are dumb if you went to that party. You know what I'm saying? Just straight off the rip, we're just going to call it what it is. And what I think is funny is that people have been calling these people influencers. But if you go to folks' IGs and their pages and their social media stuff, like literally, I got homies whose dogs have more followers than these people. Stop calling them influencers. They're not influencers. They're people who have deep self-esteem issues and needed validation, and that's why they go to a New Year's party in the middle of a pandemic so that they can flex on the gram. Y'all are dumb, you know. Here we don't wish negative things on people, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to wish any kind of sickness on anybody, although there have already been reports that folks are carrying COVID symptoms. You know, we pray for everybody to stay healthy over here. But that don't mean that we're not going to call you dumb for doing dumb things. So, you know, don't be like those people. Also, what's up with Placer County sheriffs not doing anything to shut that down when they showed up? Are we asking? Has anyone asked them? Can we get someone to maybe ask that question? In another celebration in Placer County, because we ain't done in Placer County yet, Destiny Christian Church in Rockland hosted a wedding for Pastor Greg Farrington's daughter on New Year's Eve. It also flouted the state's pandemic protocols. Let me just add, Pastor Greg must have missed the part where we're supposed to love our neighbors as ourselves. You know what I mean? Probably also forgot the part of the book that says he's supposed to take care of the least of these. That's bad shepherding. You know what I'm saying? Come for me if you will. But the Christian community got to do better at this, y'all. We supposed to be taking care of each other, and some of y'all setting a terrible example. So again, I'm just keeping it 1,000. Wedding ceremonies are allowed under even the strict stay-at-home orders, but must be held outdoors and with strict social distancing and masks required. Numerous photos and videos posted publicly to social media appeared to show the Destiny wedding indoors at the church's main campus with no social distancing or mask use visible. Multiple readers notified the Bee about the Destiny Christian wedding days in advance, expressing concern that it could turn into a so-called super spreader event. Farrington, in a weekend Facebook video lambasting the Bee's recent coverage of his church, acknowledged that about 220 people attended the wedding. The pastor has been an outspoken opponent of Newsom and the state's COVID-19 restrictions. Again, I refer you to that book that you preach from every week, Pastor. Placer County, which has a population of about 400,000, has largely taken a hands-off approach to the pandemic. Placer has not had its own local health order in place for months, and law enforcement has opted for an education-based approach rather than enforcing the state order. So Placer County is choosing not to actually enforce the state order. Word. The county's health office last week released a detailed report for COVID-19 activity during most of December. From December 1st to December 28th, the county added 6,452 new lab-confirmed cases of the disease, almost half of its 10-month total for the entire pandemic. Did y'all hear that? In 1 month, they added almost half the amount of cases that they've had the entire pandemic. Shout out Placer County. Placer also suffered 40 of its 125 cumulative COVID-19 deaths in those 4 weeks. So in that month, 1/3 of the deaths are happening. Things are picking up in Placer County, and the sheriffs aren't doing anything. Based on contact tracing, Placer health officials reported that more than 2,000 of the people with infections confirmed in December reported attending a large gathering. Due to incubation and reporting periods, this total does not include any cases linked to Christmas. The health office previously noted that 20% of the people with cases confirmed in October, 18% in November, reported attending large gatherings. December's total works out to 32%, but of all cases, not just those for which an interview was completed. The county that month began using a virtual survey for people with cases who could not be directly reached by phone. It's unclear how many of these surveys were sent and how many responses were received, and the new system makes direct comparisons with previous months difficult. The report did enumerate 308 cases for which the type of large gathering was specified. At least 68 of those, 22%, were explicitly linked to Thanksgiving. Another 107, or 35%, were listed as friend or family gathering, which may have included Thanksgiving. Y'all, so Placer County is a hot mess. The sheriffs aren't doing anything. You know who else the sheriffs aren't doing anything out here? Sacramento County. Thank you for taking the time to read all this vital information to the public. Of course. Thank the Latino Center of Art and Culture for giving us a platform to do this. Maria Costa said, love thy neighbor. Hello. Yeah, that's the frustrating part. All of these churches, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all ain't read the book. Y'all talk about the book every week. Y'all love to thump the book, but you don't actually read the book. All right, I'm going to stop before I get myself in trouble out here. All right, so that's the last Rona news, y'all. The last time I'm ever going to do. Or is it? Ooh, big announcement coming at the end of the show. But we got one more segment before then. And I have one of my favorite human beings on the entire planet coming to join us for Mask Off tonight. I don't even know what to say about this person. They're one of my favorite poets. They're one of my favorite activists. They're one of my favorite organizers. They're one of my favorite creators of all things. And just one of the like purest souls that I've ever met in my life. People do things for a lot of reasons, and Grace is always doing them for the right one. You know what I'm saying? We need more Rona news. Let's see what we can do, Crystal. Tune in for the end of the show. Make a big announcement. Love you. So, this is someone who I have been in the trenches with numerous times on this poetry thing. Without any further ado, y'all, it's time for Masked Up with the one and the only Grace Losher. Hey.
What's up? Good to see you.
Oh my God, I love your face. I'm so glad to see you. If y'all don't know, Grace, again, like host of Speak Out Sacramento, the mind and the heart behind the Creation District, incredible poet. We just did an event with the Sacramento Poetry Salon not too long ago. So Grace has been busy. You know, how's your quarantine been?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely been a journey with ups and downs like everybody has. And I will be the first to acknowledge, hella hard days and hard times, like so many, but also feeling hella blessed. I'm super privileged to have had a roof over my head and food on the table. I've been working, which is dope. And I've gotten time to have my own little like creative awakening, making lots of new stuff, learning music, started a queer folk band. So there's been some joy in there.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, the thing that I keep talking to people about is that after, you know, these big pandemics and plagues, comes the Renaissance, right? And I feel like there's definitely some of that going on in Sacramento. The more of the creatives that I talk to, you really see in folks like getting to the root of their creation. You know, one thing that I've noticed is, you know, there's like two types of artists in my circle, right? Like, and one is not better than the other. They're just very different in the motivation, right? Like one is the folks who want to get famous, and the other one is the group that like does it just for the art, just to create, you know? And the folks who are doing it for fame are struggling a little bit right now, where the folks who are doing it for the art are really thriving. You know, I'm really seeing a lot of folks thriving out here with that time. You know what I mean? Like, time for me to finally tune into the show. All we had to do was get Grace on.
What's that?
Should have had Grace on earlier. Come on. So, in all of this, a lot of us have had to pivot. I went from being on stage at least once a week, usually more than that, to now I'm doing this, right? And like I got this show, I got the Great Joy Hunt. I'm trying to like go live as much as possible and produce these kind of live stream shows. How have you been pivoting, whether it's like Speak Out, whether it's the Creation District? Like, how have you found ways to pivot in this time right now?
Yeah, great question. And I mean, I know we were chatting a little bit at the beginning of the show, and many folks watching can probably relate, but just being community people, we feed off one another's energy so much. And so many of the projects I'm working on, Speak Out Sacramento, the Creation District, they're not just like organizations or productions, they are communities, and we like feed off of one another's energy. So it's been a real challenge for sure to figure out how to keep that alive. But I think, yeah, we've definitely found some ways. It's been beautiful to see the community kind of hungry to continue showing up. So Speak Out Sacramento has shifted to having virtual shows on our Instagram every other week. And that's been its own kind of silly joy journey. We've had different like pajama themes and sweet things that we couldn't do otherwise, or people who maybe live abroad who couldn't make it to our shows have been able to share. And that's been dope to just watch that open up. And then, yeah, the Creation District, it's been tons and tons of shifts. We went from a model where we had a very packed studio space that constantly had, tons of folks in tight quarters, to needing to completely revamp. So we're blessed that a couple years ago, we started our Street Outreach program, which is like a mobile pop-up studio outside of a van. And that's been really dope to get to kind of bring that back and use that tool we've had. We're used to adjusting to resources. And so we've brought kind of our Street Outreach van. We're able to go around to different shelters or programs or parks or encampments, and offer like pop-up art studios and music and just the creative community in a safe way. We've made like over 200 Outreach kits, which are essentially these little packs of like mobile studios we can hand out to folks who might be staying outside or housing unstable. And they're packed with like sketchbooks and watercolors and pastels and writing prompts and art prompts and just things to give people tools to keep making stuff and disrupting stuff. And yeah, we've been doing a lot of virtual programming, which has been cool. We're able to offer virtual recording sessions and voice lessons and yoga. We have like a sweet little virtual community called Creation District Family Staying Connected. We're just like every day we get to tap in and share our art or how we're feeling or struggles or resources. And yeah, I'm sure so many folks watching this relate that like there's many like big things that we can do. But something that's so sweet is just like daily, constant showing up, texts, phone calls, FaceTime videos while you're cooking dinner, whatever it is. And yeah, I felt so blessed to have just like Facebook video ciphers around the holidays and just little things to get to keep our Creation District community flowing and moving. So yeah, I feel like we haven't slowed down at all. It's just, yeah, it looks really different.
I feel like a lot of organizations are like that. And it's one of those things where you don't like, it's the old analogy of you see yourself in the mirror every day. So you don't see when something changes or, like you don't see when your beard grows to be this long. And I think a lot of organizations, it was like that where like, folks felt like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And there was this initial like panic and kind of this feeling that like, we're not doing enough. And then I look and I'm like, do y'all realize how much you're doing though? Like, I don't think a lot of them actually realize, as someone who's gotten to watch Soul Collective and everything that they're doing out here and the way that they pivoted to like, let's make sure that the community has, the food that they need and the resources that they need and doing testing and contact tracing now. The center isn't open anymore. So it's a whole different shift and a whole different vibe. We collectively have a fan. Claire White says she loves us both and we both love you.
We do.
So, we talked a lot about the Creation District. I love the Creation District. Like I will do whatever I can ever possibly do to support this. But for our folks who don't know what the Creation District is here in Sacramento, you want to give us a little history and what it is, where it came from, and what y'all doing?
So yeah, thank you so much. So the Creation District at its heart is a community, and I like to use that word instead of just like organization or program or something, but it really is a community that's aimed at increasing artistic accessibility to everyone, but particularly to youth and young adults who are experiencing homelessness and housing insecurity. So a big belief that like a basic need is creation and creative community and outlets to express yourself just as much as we also deserve and need housing and food and safety and all of those things. So we achieve this goal in a number of different ways. Similarly, like you were mentioning to Soul Collective, we've closed our physical studio space, but do intend to reopen as soon as that's safe for our community. But we had a studio space in downtown Sac that was open 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, that just offered free open studio time for young adults to come in and just bang on the drums and mash around on a pottery wheel or paint a giant canvas. And then we also offered 2 workshops a day taught by local artists. Drew taught a dope video workshop for a while. We've had things like stand-up comedy, poetry, improv, and things that just kind of teach creative skills and outlets and help build community. We also have an independent record label called Creation District Records, and we offer daily recording sessions so youth are able to walk in, write their own lyrics or songs, whatever it is, poetry, record them on live, really professional here. They are going to be an album shows, Carlos and Ace of Spades, really cool community events. And it's been a dope journey. We came more program Waking the Village, which is don't know, please do their work, incredibly doing dope work with homelessness in Sacramento since 1999. So really the OGs that came. They have a really beautiful belief that working with young folks experiencing homelessness is so much more than just help folks get a minimum wage job and lifelong dependency on the system, but it's really helping folks just have that stage and platform to be exactly the powerhouse that they already are and kind of provide this holistic lens. I came along and started working with them in 2015, kind of a shitty case manager, but cared a lot about infusing arts and creation in various ways, and they helped kind of pour a lot of love on that dream, gave me some wings, and we opened the Creation District in 2015, started doing our first kind of workshops at schools and things like that, and it just kind of expanded and flown since then. So kind of like, I really relate to that idea of you don't see yourself in the mirror every day, and then we look back 5 years later and it's like, whoa, we're really doing this thing. So
yeah, and it's one of the most like beautiful environments that I get to step into as a creative. I love what y'all do over there so much. I miss the fam over there. I miss being able to just like stop by and like poke and prod everybody and just like, what are you up to? What are you doing? How are you using your creativity? Ashley Ray. So I love these episodes so much, and we love this episode extra because Grace is in it. Mm-hmm. So how can people support the Creation District in this time?
Dope. Thanks for asking. Definitely follow us on Facebook and Instagram. It's just at the Creation District, and that's cool. So you can see about upcoming projects and events. If you've got the funds, we always love and do a lot with donations. So we have like Cash App, the Creation District, our PayPal. There's a whole page on our website that explains kind of different options for donating, and then exactly what your donations are going to go to. We are big believers in using every dime. I love to like give youth employment opportunities and make sure that money goes right into them and not into weird administrative kind of side pockets. If you're a local creative, we are super into mentorship opportunities. If you're someone who could use someone to help you do sound on one of your shows, or you could kind of show someone the ropes for something, that's always awesome. If you have your own creative skill set, we're always looking for volunteer workshop leaders or people to come and help around the studio. But mostly just love on the youth around you, help infuse their creativity, believe in them. Just be a good person.
Real talk. So the question that I ask everyone, 10 episodes deep now, and we have asked every human being that stops by here, where's your joy coming from?
I love this question. Thanks for asking that. 10 episodes deep. Yeah. all over the place. I mean, I think the biggest source is like watching community show up for one another in super creative ways. Like this right here brings me so much joy. Just seeing the way that people are really down to like ride through this together and show up and get silly and get creative and just like love on one another, love on their community, love on themselves. Like watching that happen, whether I'm a part of it or kind of voyeuristically on the outside, just like cheering from my living room. I love to see people coming together for themselves in their communities. That's been super beautiful. Yeah, and then just little simple things, you know, treat yourself. I had a Capri Sun and a Nerds rope yesterday and watched the sunset. And I was like, it can't get any better than this. So I do try to create teeny tiny luxurious joys along the way. Pay attention to them, all the berries and the flowers and the sunsets and stuff. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Get you a Capri Sun and a Nerds rope and go find somewhere to watch the sunset from.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great parking garage on I think it's 14th and H, and if you just dodge the security hit them with the fake left and then go right, and you'd be good. It's a good one to see it over the whole city. I think that's about it. Other than like, can we get a poem from Grace Loescher to close it? Well, hold on. First, Marie says, "Love the Creation District."
Thank you.
And then Kim says, I think one silver lining of the pandemic is that we recognize those small joys we took for granted. I think that's absolutely true. I do a show called The Great Joy Hunt, which is based on a little hashtag that I've been doing for the last few years because I was in a bad place. And it was literally like an effort to find joy and something to be happy about. And I think a lot of us had to really hone that in this last 9-10 months, whatever it's been. That it's like, yo, we have to find those little things, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people started gardens, started putting their hands in the dirt, started taking walks, started, just kind of walking around the community. I've noticed even like my delivery folks, like even when they drop the groceries by, like they're like, how you doing? What's going on? What you been up to? They're like talkative. You know what I mean? Like we're relationship building, even if it's just the grocery folks, you know what I mean? Because we're all looking for that connection. So, shout out to all of the folks who come through and deliver the groceries. I appreciate you. So yeah, I think we trying to end it with a Grace Loescher piece, if that is possible, for the last episode ever of Masked Up. Or is it?
I hope it's not, but sure, I'd be happy to share. Thanks for that. And yeah, if you ever listen, I write a lot about hope and a lot about like overcoming our darkest days. I'd love to share a little poem about my work today and how work that started the first year before it started. I worked in a transitional living program, Top and House, from our way to the village, particularly for pregnant and parenting young adults. And that's a really eye-opening experience and colored a lot of the work I did. So it's almost called One Day. It was the December she touched a snowflake for the first time. It was the May she gave her last dime when she didn't have a penny. The March she learned how to ride a bike. The November so many of us lost hope. The April she gave birth to her first daughter and named her Miracle. It was the way she stood for so much more than just one woman's story. It was the way all of our stories began to tangle their chapters together. It was the way together was the only way we knew how to survive. For 5 years, I've answered phones for a living. Metaphorically, of course, I close doors for a living. I am so used to giving out sorry excuses for why there are no beds for teens to grow their dreams on in this city. I try to spin the ugly into pretty by offering a spot on a never-ending wait list, but we both know it's hopeless. So most times I just can't hang up the phone. I focus on the breathing coming through the other end. I wonder if I can send my pulsing heart through the high-speed line. I wonder if I can find a way to prove to a perfect stranger that she's not in this alone. But the dial tone says otherwise. 5:52, the phone rings. Her voice sings like only a young mama's would. Her voice sings like she should be deserving of so much more than just a bed for tonight, and I can't even give her that. But it's still my job to ask, are you expecting? Perfecting her imitation of someone who isn't afraid. She chokes out a yes. I offer my best impression of someone with hope stuffed into her veins. It's the same thing I told you yesterday. 6 months wait. She takes a deep breath. I try to offer some semblance of hope in my silence without speaking. I try to communicate the following. Number one, you have a voice. Sometimes wallowing looks like screaming, but as you're wailing, make sure you're believing and change, it will come. Number two, you are an artist. Your heart is the strongest canvas you are charged with painting. Now create like your life depends on it, because it does. Number three, listen to the song around us. We are each instruments in a pit orchestra, and this life is your solo, so play loud. Number four, sometimes you're going to be wrong, but you've got a long journey of learning ahead of you, so don't be afraid to try to prove yourself right. Number five, Einstein taught that if you press your palm against the palm of another for 15 seconds, a chemical endorphin is released in your brain that incites a feeling of peace. Let every human being you meet be an opportunity to create rather than destroy. Let us employ our best impression of eyes that don't see different as wrong. If peace is a song, then each of us must play our parts in harmony to make the symphony one that flows. Number six, history shows that Einstein also invented the bomb. So what the fuck does he know? And sometimes, girl, you gotta fight back. But the night is black. And no matter how much I try to turn reality into poetry, we both know she's walking right back into the same streets that eat her alive each night. Thank you for calling, but there's no room. Thank you for calling, but there are no beds in this city. Thank you for calling, but have you tried the other shelters? Thank you for calling, but the truth is there's not one safe place in this entire city where you can rest your head for the night, which means that right now there's nowhere we're allowed to live. So instead, they give us a sidewalk to die on, and we've tried on hope for years. So maybe it's time to start living with rage. It was the December she could count every bone in her rib cage. It was the May she went back to the same house she came from. It was the October her miracle was taken away. It was that entire year when she used to say, one day, it's going to be our day. Thank you.
Always so powerful. Always so powerful. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Thank you for sharing your whole being with the city of Sacramento. I love you. I can't think of a better way to end off. Is it the Masked Up series? You know, it's been quite a pleasure. We've had a bunch of my favorite poets that have gotten to stop by and drop some pieces. And you know, in the midst of all this, it's as close as we can get to standing on street corners like we usually do. You know, and me and Grace been on some street corners together. Let me tell you. I was just talking to someone the other day about San Diego and that wild night that will go down in infamy. So lucky to have you both. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank y'all for sharing the show and being part of it. And thank the Latino Center of Art and Culture for doing everything that they've been doing to really, like, you know, support the artists in the city and the creatives of all genres. You know, we see y'all. There are a lot of us who may not have been eating or may not have been paying rent if it wasn't for the Latino Center, you know, doing what they're doing with the SAC Artists Corps. We got a question though, Grace. Where can we find that poem? Is that poem available anywhere?
Oh, thanks for asking. I've been lacking a little bit on sharing my stuff publicly, but I am working on a project right now where I'm going to upload it. I'm kind of revamping the website I used to have, gracemakesstuff.com. So stay tuned and I will put it up soon. And thank you for caring.
Yeah. Find Grace on the gram. Grace doesn't do Facebook because Grace is smarter than those of us who do. And really cares about her mental health. So she don't mess around on Facebook, but you can find her. Is it Grace Loescher?
Yeah. My Instagram is just at Grace Loescher, my last name, Loescher. And then you can also follow at The Creation District and at Speak Out Sacramento. And The Creation District is on Facebook for those of y'all who are on Facebook and you want to go and support, go find The Creation District. All right, love. Well, I shall see you on the other side. I'm sure we'll be doing something with the Sacramento Poetry Salon sooner than later. It is now 2021, so we got all kinds of things that we can be working out. But thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much, Drew. Thanks for making this space and feeding our community. We are so blessed to have you. Yeah, thank you.
Always love, always love. I'll see you soon.
All right, love.
All right, y'all. Well, that brings us to the final episode of Masked Up. Or is it? Guess what? It's not, y'all. Guess what? It's not. We got some new sponsors who are going to be working with us, an incredible organization called Protect Us, and the Masked Up COVID live stream is going to be changing format a little bit into the Masked Up Community Health live stream. So along with giving, some of the COVID updates, we are going to be working with medical professionals to be having conversations around around all kinds of issues. So not only the pandemic. I'm sorry, Ashley. I'm sorry. I had to do a dramatic effect. It's important in theater. So we are going to be covering all kinds of topics and having conversations with health professionals. Everything from antibiotics and how they work, how the body works, what you can do to build your own immune system. Also, like racism as a health crisis, and how we deal with that, what the data shows, and approaching it from a scientific perspective. So we got some really big things going on. I'll tell you, we have a very, very special guest coming on next week. We are not even going to miss a step. We are just going to get right into it starting next week with the folks from Protect Us. So shout out to them for picking it up. Shout out to the Latino Center and the Office of Art and Culture for, making this happen and allowing us a platform to be able to be seen by these folks who want to team up and bring this community health education even deeper into the community and reach as many people as we humanly can, and extraterrestrially can too. You know what I'm saying? Man, thank you for the congratulations. I see y'all excited that we're going to keep this thing going. It has been an absolute honor and an absolute pleasure to bring this to the city of Sacramento. That's it. A lot of the other shows are wrapping up as well. I have another show that I've been doing on my personal page every morning called The Great Joy Hunt. And
this how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns. Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off.
And so we rock that. So I try to do it between the 10 and 11 o'clock hour, sometime in there. So if you want to follow me, Andrew Defy, on Facebook, you will see some more of that. And we trying to do everything that we can out here. Man, it has been a wild ride. Again, I want to give a fat shout out to Ruben Reveles for teaching me this platform. I want to give a shout out to everybody at StreamYard who has made it possible. They really worked with me. I had some technical difficulties, and we worked together for a long time, pretty much for the entire 10 weeks that I was doing this in order to troubleshoot and fix some things. But it's fixed now and up and going. And shout out to everybody who's watched and shared and contributed in one way or another. And we're gonna get through this, y'all. We're gonna get through this, and we're gonna keep moving. So yeah, tune in next week. We'll still be here. And that's it. I'm Andrew Defy, and I'm gonna leave you with a little bit of music to breathe to, because that's part of taking care of ourselves, and part of our is taking care of the immune system, and being able to do that is we got to bring the anxiety down. You know what I mean? Like the stress actually affects your immune system in a really, really bad way. So, stay as chill as you can. So I'm going to leave us with that. And again, I'm Andrew Defy. I love you, and you can't do shit about it.